everybody and welcome back to the channel. How's everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm going to do something now that I don't normally do, and that is a monthly pickups video. I've tried these before. They were a bit funny when I uploaded them, that I didn't get that much interest, but I've picked up quite a bit this month, and I thought, well, instead of trying to do it individual videos and break it into other things like I normally do, I'll just do one big collection video, one big haul video of the stuff I've picked up for the month of March, and we'll have a look at some of it. I mean, there's some films here, there's other bits and bats, so I thought we'd have a look at it overall. So we'll go through the films first. The first film that I picked up was The Green Knight. This is an A24 film. Normally, A24 as a film company don't really do much for me. I'm not normally that interested. But when I saw a trailer of this, it piqued my interests because there's an 80s film called, I think it's called The Green Knight. And it's also known as The Sword of the Valiant. Same story, same adaptation. But that starred Sean Connery, and Sean Connery played the Green Knight within that film, and I think Miles O'Keefe was in it as well, as I think he played Gawain, whereas Dev Patel plays Gawain in this one. Always like anything within the Arthurian legend. It's my cup of tea. So when I saw this one coming out, and because I always enjoyed the original film, I thought I'd give it a whirl. I watched this on streaming first, really enjoyed it. Now I know a lot of people didn't like it, and a lot of people didn't really take to it, but I thought it was pretty good. This now, I picked this up second hand. This was for nothing. I think it was a couple of pounds second hand this now. So yeah, a nice one to add to the collection. So that's The Green Knight. Next one, I love stop motion animation, as most people know, and I always liked this film when it came out. It's Paranormal. As far as a kid's stop motion animation went, the horror elements of this and the story of it is really, really good. This was from the people that brought you Coraline. My daughter loved Coraline. I enjoyed it too. It's a really fun film. For me, this one's better. Really entertaining. A great little stop motion film, and it's absolutely teeming with special features on this. So that was a nice little pickup, and again, that was the very cheap second hand now. I think it was like a pound or £1.50, something like that. So that was a nice little find. Next one is one that I don't understand why I didn't have in the collection sooner. I thought I had it until I had a look through at all my John Hughes films, and then realised it wasn't there, and that's Uncle Buck. Brilliant film, one of John Candy's best. My wife loves this film as well, as this was a mainstay in our household for watching John Candy films or John Hughes films. Just a bare bones release by Fabulous. Fabulous do some nice releases, but they're always just bare bone, but they're really cheap when they come out. And again, this one dead cheap second hand now, about £4 second hand, that one. So I picked up Uncle Buck. This one I've been chasing for a while. This is out of print now from 88 Films. I did a watch along a good number of years back with this, with Johnny from over at Johnny's Boutique Podcast, and Cody. If you ever see Cody kicking around in the chat, we did a lot of watch along with this one night, and it is One Dark Night. 88 Films put this out on the 88 Vault. The Vault has some great titles, but was quite short-lived. There aren't that many titles that was released under the Vault label of 88. But One Dark Night's great. I mean, that fucking cover is unreal. Compared to the original cover, it's head and shoulders. Not the best film you'll ever see, but it's entertaining. I'm sure it's using the same set as Phantasm, because it looks fucking identical. But nevertheless, it's a real fun title. Second hand, this one was, because it's out of print now, goes for all kinds of money all over the shop, but I managed to find a copy on eBay for £8, which was a bargain. It was just a buy it now price at £8, and it's in pretty good condition too. So that's one Dark Knight. The next one is the Relic. This was an upgrade. I had this film on DVD for the longest amount of time, and it held its price for a long while on Blu-ray in the UK, and then it just plummeted second hand. So I picked this up again. I paid about either £2 or £3 for this second hand. I love the film. I really think that Tom Sizemore is great in it. I know that Tom Sizemore hated this film. I think if he could have struck this from his back catalogue of work, I think he would have done. And I don't know why, because it's great. I mean, I love it. My wife loves it. It's a great little creature feature. So that was a nice pickup. The Relic. This one was an absolute fucking find of the century. You don't normally find stuff like this in charity shops in the UK. It just doesn't happen. Every so often you'll find something boutique within a charity shop. I've found a couple of Eureka titles. I found Time and Tide a few months back, but it's rare. It's rare that you find anything. But then my local Heart Foundation in town, I walked in there a couple of weeks back, and boom, that popped up. Transfers, 88 films released. This is out of print now. That again, fucking cover art on that is immense. This sells anywhere between 12, 15, I've seen it go up to £20 on eBay. £2 in a local charity shop, boom, fucking brilliant. Special features on it, there's fucking shitloads, you know what I mean? It's a full moon title. I love full moon stuff. But to find this for £2 in a charity shop, yeah, highlight of the month really, that one. So that was Transfers. And it's very, very rare I pre-order anything. It's very, very rare I get anything on release dates. I always try and wait. But this one I couldn't wait. I wanted it straight away, and it proved really difficult to get hold of. And that is The Adventures of young Sherlock Holmes. A completely underrated Steven Spielberg film. You'll have to excuse that, the glare on it. I've still got the wrapper on it. It is a peach of a film. I have always loved this since it came out. I have championed this film for years, and people just look at me like I'm mental. But I really, really love it. But this proved really difficult to get hold of. When this came out, I wasn't in my hometown. I was away somewhere, and I went into the local HMV, asked did they have a copy. They said no, they didn't have one. They never received any in. They could see it on the system, but they didn't receive any. So then a couple of days later, I was in Manchester. I visited HMV in Manchester and FOP in Manchester. Now those are two big companies within the city, two big stores, and they'd only had one copy each at each store, and both had gone. So I thought, right, why is this proving so difficult? I come to my own HMV in town, which I use on a regular basis. They'd never received a copy either, even though they could see it on the system. I don't know what's going on with this, so I ended up ordering it from the online store, and it come within a couple of days. Now, why this wasn't getting out to store and why this was minimum stock within store, I have no idea. But what I do know is it was £15 to buy, which, yeah, £15, I'd pay for something like this. But second hand now, it's creeping up in value, so I'm wondering whether this was short numbers. I know this had a steelbook as well as, and whether they tried to push the steelbook rather than the standard edition, I don't know, but the standard edition seems a lot more difficult to get hold of than the steelbook edition. So I had to order online. It's normally the last thing I want to do, but that's the way I had to go. And again, it's complete bare bones, you know what I mean? There's nothing on here from the film, but I'm glad to have it, because it was a childhood favourite. It's still a favourite now. That's The Adventures of Young Sherlock Holmes. So they were the films that I picked up this month. A couple of nice little titles in there. And then I picked a couple of other things up. A local charity bookshop in my town, I always have a quick look in there, and sometimes they've got bits, other times they've got nothing unless you want romance novels or how-to novels, how-to books. But this popped up in there. and it is the Hamlin Book of Horror from 1977, hardback book, which I thought was cool as fuck. The artwork on it's great. Some kind of wolf man, zombie, I don't really know, cannibal eating the guts of somebody off the back of there. There's a zombie coming out of the grave and a werewolf and some bats. It looks like Dracula's castle in the background and his carriage. I mean, that's some cool artwork. And again, the artwork on the front's really good. It seems to be, it goes through British folk horror and then gets on to sort of like Hammer horror. And then some other sort of like folk tales in the back of it. Really, really good. Again, the charity bookshop in question, you can walk in and take a book for free. You don't have to pay anything for it. You can just take a book in and drop some books off. But I made a donation for this one. I give them £2 for it. And lo and behold, when I had a quick look on eBay, it's selling for about £20. So, you know what I mean, bonus. But that won't be coming out of my collection. That's really cool. So, yeah, the Hamlin Book of Horror from 1977. That was a nice little find. The other good little find of the day was I didn't realise that the price had started to drop on these. So I will start to have a look for a few more. I held off for ages about them. But it is the repros of the Master of the Universe line. And the local game in town had just one of these, none of the others, just one. It's a battle armour, battle damage Skeletor. Which is really fucking cool. I mean, I had both of these back in the day, Skeletor and He-Man. So the He-Man one is what I'm currently trying to find. Game are selling these off for next to nothing. I mean, the price is still on the back. I gave £4.98 for it, which, man, that's, you know what I mean? I think these were like £16, £17 when they came out. And now it looks like Game are trying to get rid of them for like just under a £5. So if I can find a battle damage He-Man, I will definitely be picking him up, because like I say, I think these were the first two figures that were bought for me from new back in the day. I think most of the other stuff I'd been given from other people, you know what I mean. I remember receiving these two, I think for a birthday, so a battle damage Skeletor and a battle damage He-Man that my parents got me, so that's quite a good nod to the past. And this whole repro line that Master of the Universe have turned out is really cool. Mattel have done a really nice job on them. So that was that. And then last Saturday I attended a convention with a good friend of mine, Dave Kennedy. He was selling his artwork at the convention, and while I was there was another artist there called Lee Bradley, and Lee's got a love of sort of 80s cartoons just like I have. I also think Lee was a cartoonist for Marvel UK. I'd like to believe, I think he did some of the UK Transformers cartoons and stuff like that. Talented guy, so I bought some artwork of him. So there is one piece that I bought, which is all the heroes of 80s and 90s cartoons. So if you pause it, you can pick up all kinds of different people in that one. So you've got Lion-O and He-Man and Optimus Prime and Super Ted. There's loads there when you start looking into it. That was quite cool. And then he had the offset one, which was the villains, which I think is even better. You know what I mean? That's well good. You got Skeletor and Mumra there, Megatron in the background, Stay Puft, Marshmallow Man. It's a talented artist, and this stuff's right up my street. He had absolutely loads of different pieces he'd done, but I quite like the way that he'd done sort of big montages of heroes and villains to make his cartoons. So I'll leave a link to Lee's channel down below, and a link to his other social media stuff and that. So that was it. That's the stuff I picked up for the month of March. Again guys, if you like these videos and if you want me to see me do more of these once a month, please leave a comment down below. If it's something that people like doing, I will do these monthly. Like I said, I did start to angle away from them, but again, if it's something that somebody wants to watch, the stuff I'm picking up, then I'll throw more out. So thank you very much for watching. Take care, guys. I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.